Hi there and welcome to T5. This is the market study for Monday, July 23rd, 2007. Kind of want to start off with a real broad look at the S&P. This is it on a weekly chart, and you can see we've been on quite a tear. The interesting thing that happened last week is, as I kind of zoom in here, as you can see, it broke above that little resistance point there, and now we ended up closing back inside the channel. That doesn't bode well for any sort of long positions in the overall market. The Dow Jones, on the other hand, did end up closing above its resistance area, along with the NASDAQ just continuing its uptrend as well. One of the nice little breakouts here that's just currently checking into old resistance is the transports, and utilities just kind of have this little railroad type thing slightly grinding upward. From a market cap standpoint here, you can see the large caps are still remaining above their little area of resistance. The mid caps are under, as well with the small caps. Browsing over the commodities here, you can see we had a nice little check. Once it broke that little area of resistance, came back down, did a nice little test of it and took off. Kind of put in a slightly close to an inside day there. Big part of that here is gold still on the breakout mode, as well as oil. The dollar still having its fair share of difficulties, and the bonds just kind of chopping around doing nothing. Let's run over our sectors here, and this is based on Friday's performance. Technology hung in the best there, putting in kind of a hammer. Energy still holding its own with oil on the run. Kind of a good day here for consumer staples, given the fact this whole area really isn't doing anything. Telecom going sideways. Healthcare kind of getting back down to this little support area. Could be interesting around here. Materials finally taking a little bit of a break. Looking for an entry right there around 41 to 42 would be real nice. Utilities chopping it up still. Paint drying. Semis still having a good run, and we found a couple in the first run that looked pretty good in this area. Industrials had its first down day in quite a while. And the financials. This was the big whack on Friday. Still probably has to do with that subprime or something. Alright, let's go ahead and give this market a rating. Alright, as I look over the market grid here, a lot of green out there in the majors and in all the caps. We've got some good setups there in some of the sectors that are outperforming. And again, you'll see they've ranked up there in the top 4 to 5 consistently. The one thing that's kind of getting me here is the breadth indicators. You can see we have 3 different breadth indicators all giving us buy signs tonight. So for the sake of that, I think I'm going to come over here, kind of jump up the old market rating to 3. Because of some things I've done in my portfolio to eliminate a lot of the risk on the short side, I'm actually pretty happy. I'm actually going to go up and give this thing a 1 for the time being. Really don't day trade too much on Fridays. Let's go ahead and review our swing trades we've currently got going on. Let's start out looking at one that we kind of got whipsawed on here. And as I look at this, you know, we had a good dramatic move. Kind of felt I was a little late. And the one thing I've got to keep my eye out for this sort of a setup is not really here on the daily chart, but when we step back on the weekly chart, you can see how far extended we were away from that 13. And I got stopped out on this, so be it, but you just got to keep your eye out for those that are too far stretched from that 13. They will come back sooner or later. Here on HOF, not really too much to do. As you can see, it's just kind of hanging in there sideways. Hopefully we're in a good position on this, and this can gain some momentum here in the next couple days. Now, LDK did great for us. This is as nice as it comes, people. To have this thing run up and make that much that fast, you gotta love it. I am kind of getting aggressive with my stop, and basically this is based on a 60-minute swing low. So not a pretty candle sight, so I thought I might just book what I could out of it and maybe even run it up on an intraday basis tomorrow, depending on what the market ends up doing. Going into our shorts here, looks like OMX just put in an inside day, so not too much to do here. Lehman Brothers was our big winner, and you can see here that we finally got our stop move down there to a bit below the break-even level. So I'm pretty happy here. Here on CFC, again, you can see we're kind of just capturing a little bit of profit while this creeps down. Again, not a big fan of the most recent candlestick. Nice. We finally get to move our stop to break-even here on Marvel. It's a long time coming, kind of some patience paid off. We'll see if we can't get through this 25 point. That would be a nice one. And another beautiful break-even point here on SFI. Alright, still kind of working on the portfolio stuff. The one thing I found about my portfolio after doing all my stop adjustments is I'm only carrying about 1.2% risk, and that's real nominal. Also, if you include where my stops are, and if I got stopped out of everything tomorrow, I'm actually in the green, so pretty happy where that sits. Trying to come up with some ways to visualize that for you guys. Alright, let's go ahead and see what I found on the first run. I basically just looked for some long ideas today due to the fact that I have so much short in my portfolio already, not real interested in adding anything there. So basically looked around for some longs this evening, and this is what I came up with. A couple of these you will see on there from last week. Just so you know, there's a couple crazy ones in this list. Be real careful out there. Trading thoughts for the night. As I sat here and did some work today, the one thing I really decided is not only do you have to learn how to become a trader, you also have to learn how to program databases, which is not the funnest thing in the world. But there's a lot to this, and this is a huge project, and again, hopefully some things come out of it that help everybody out. Trading is a job of keeping meticulous records, and the easier I figure I can make that for me, that should help someone else out there. Alright, you guys have a good one and enjoy your week trading. Remember, you can always go visit t5trading.blogspot.com if you want to see any other videos I've done or just an archive of these videos.